This PSA was brought to you by the Peter G Show.
You may have second thoughts after the show.
Don't drink the Foster.
We're really talented. We should get Oscars.
Just pick out a car, for Christ's sake.
No, I'm one. Hi, my name is Peter. Yeah, I want. Here's good.
Yeah.
Madam Perry.
I need to get back in the genie bottle.
Louis from Pennsylvania, you're on.
He likes it.
It's showtime.
Peter G Show, Peter G Show, divorced dad, single dad, divorced dad, single dad, Peter G Show.
Hey, y'all. How the hell is everybody? Long time no see. Feels like it. Notice anything different? Take a minute. Give you a little time. Look at this. Let's start with the Facebookers first. Howdy, Peter. Howdy, Dan. I know that I'm going to give everybody a minute or two because, it's a little overwhelming. I know. But I do hope everybody's doing well. Everybody's been well. It's been a month or so since we've been on. And what we got here? Pensacola in the house. Touche. Ditto. If you know, you know. Oh, of course. Hey, Pete. Hey, Paul. Coming to a neighborhood near you. City near you. So, I know when we left off, I was telling everybody that I got I'm going to be transitioning. Big change in my life. I'm telling you, I'm freaking nervous. And I don't get nervous very often. Not nervous, but how do you put it? So much going on in my head right now that I want to get out. Tonight's going to be a total you and me talking. Because when I left off, I told you guys, hey, it's going to be some major change, at least for me in my life. I'm going to be transitioning, and I hope you'll stick with me. And I meant it. I truly meant it. And I did. Now, through the month, I was getting some comments, so I'm told. And some people thought I was going to be like, chopping off the old nutsaroonies and stuff, It's like, the only thing I can say about nuts is, you're nuts. Because I am completely heterosexual. No doubt about that. No change in that department. However, for several years now, there's been a lot going on with me logistically and things like that in my head. And it's been going on for a while. And God knows it's just harder to do than I want. Several reasons, mostly personal. But I finally did it. And it wasn't easy. Really wasn't easy. Still isn't. I still can't find things I'm looking for. Still haven't found what I'm looking for. I mean, materialistically. Here's the deal. I did not do a transsexual transition. Sorry to disappoint some of you. However, after years, and I do mean years, of serious thought, I decided to leave after 34 years. I've completely, and I mean completely, left California. I mean, it's like this. This is how it ended. Now, this took a lot of thought because, honestly, I could have left California back in 2012. Didn't need it anymore. It no longer served me. I moved to California 34 years ago because of music. I left the Gulf Coast, and I love the Gulf Coast. I'm so thankful I never picked up anchor. I've always had a house in the Gulf Coast. Cut my teeth playing music in the Gulf Coast. Moved to LA because I wanted to further my dreams, my everything I wanted to do. Always wanted to be a professional musician and take it to another level. The music industry has taken a dump years ago. Saw the writing on the wall. Went through a divorce I never thought I was going to see coming. I don't think many do. Had a child that I adored that when this divorce was going through, she was very young, and I swore not to take off. I could have stayed on the road, but the biggest issue I had was I didn't get married to have a child so she could be fatherless. So I had to make a lot of moral decisions, bad business decisions, because it's cost me dearly. But at the end of the day, the payback is a gazillion times over, full when it comes to her. But I have spent my money surviving in LA that is ridiculously gotten out of control. The governor there is just killing this beautiful state, killing California. They are just, and I'm going to get into a show on California again. I'm going to have to, because there's people that don't know much about Governor Gavin Newsom, and they just look at him and they're all for him. He's the biggest snake. He's the devil himself. A kind word. I love you, Peter. I love you too, Sharon. Thank you. Stick around tonight. Tonight's really special for me. For you, for some, they might go, oh God. But this is important. This is a big deal for me. Because if you hang around, I'm going to, again, talk show. It's all me talking. Might open up the phones, get your thoughts. But California it's such a beautiful state. I love the weather there. You could go out on your motorcycle if you have one, or anything with the top down, your convertible, knowing you're not going to get poured on. Just out of the blue. However, we have a governor there that continues to keep raising gas taxes. Gas is still $4.50 up to $7 and more a gallon. And it's not having anything to do with the gasoline companies, nothing like that. Pure greed. The taxes, the property taxes are out of control. The money is being pocketed by all of Gavin Newsom and their buddies. And now they're getting registrations for your car are astronomical. If you own a luxury car, you're paying thousands of dollars a year for a friggin' license plate. A license plate, registration, a tag. We got roads over here in the Gulf Coast. How do they do it? It's under $100. How do they do it? Got people here that drive on the roads. And in California, they're going broke. They robbed the lottery, scams, billions gone from unemployment fraud during COVID, 22 billion, can't explain for, that was supposed to go for the homeless problems. What's Dan say? Where's your new home? Well, it's not really my new home. It's always been my home. But now it's going to be full time, at least for a while. I'm always down here. And I'll tell you in a little bit. Now, those who see the background, I always made a joke for years because this show is tough. You know, there's no in between. You're either big or you're not. Well, there might be a little bit of in between. I'm kind of there, but you're either super big or you're not. And it's costly. And I always made this joke because there was times when, you know, loss of sponsorship or not having sponsors. And I said, I'm doing this. I don't care what it's going to take. I'm going to do this. And I always made this joke. I said, I'll give up my house and do the show from under a bridge before I give up the show. And voila. For those of you who know, you know. It's a beautiful under the bridge. I love it under there. I took that shot. But a lot of sacrifice. Living in California, I don't know how the regular poor people do it. Like people who, you know, normal people work at Walmart, Burger King. It's like, it's impossible to live. The rents are crazy and they're not doing nothing for you. The water bills. I remember my service fee, just like the difference is where I'm at right now, just to have water service. Over here, where I'm at, is about $9.80 or something like that, just to have it. Let's say like you never used any water. They charge you a certain fee for billing, for maintenance, whatever. In California, my house there, to have the same service if you never used it, just the service fee, for them to say you exist and you're connected if you need it, is over $50 a month. Same thing. It's not really anything that's that relevant. It's like you're getting water there, you're getting water here. And that's not for the usage of the water. That's just for them to be available for you, just like here. So again, I struggled with this for many years. Most of the time putting out more money out of my own pocket to keep things going because I was hell-bent. I knew when I decided to take on this this task, this project, I knew that I wasn't going to back down because then it'd be stupid. I'd be just like everybody else. Everybody starts doing something and then where'd they go? Where'd they go? But for some people that know me and things, decided I was going to go to California, I went. I didn't come back. I mean, I came back to visit a lot, but I didn't come back because it wasn't cutting it. I may not have been as big of a musician as some of the people I've worked with, or a lot of the people I've worked with, but I was in that circle. And writing hits, you can write a hit now, a hit song. It's like you make pennies on the dollar, not like the old days of residual income. It's just hard. I'm not making up any excuses. I am thankful for everything I have done. I've got stories with some and I've gotten to share life in different countries and touring with people that I have, you know, that stories I can't even tell. I mean, I could, but I won't. I mean, they're not seriously bad or anything like that, but they're just, you know, we got wild. What you say? Great drummer. Thank you. I'm going to try to hold up to that. Because I will maybe start playing a little bit, maybe locally, just for the fun, just so I could be out and not be out if I have the time. But that's down the road. But the thing is, again, divorce changed my life. It started this show. Divorce, I had to stop dead in my tracks and spend 3 years going in and out of courts. It's well documented. You go back to the old shows. We're in our 9th year, folks. 9 long, hard years. What a journey from the look of the show. I was going to like use a lot of, you know, go through some of the old videos and stuff. Even my daughter called in once when she was 15, 5 years ago. Cracked me up. I wasn't expecting that because she really avoided everything that I did with the show. She didn't like the idea of me talking about divorce. She thought I was going to be bashing her mother and things like that. It was the farthest from the truth. We just talked about the struggles of divorce, going to courts, single parenting, the anger, the animosity, all the bullshit that goes along with it. And surviving to keep your act together because you have child or children that depend on you and you don't need to be falling apart in front of them. That's really super important. So I hung in there and I stayed in California to be minutes away from my daughter when I didn't have her, and minutes away from my daughter when it was time for me to go and get her, because every second that I had her was one more second for me to be with her. That was important to me. Super important. That was the most important. That was my main drive. But then I reinvented myself. I came up with this talking about divorce. But I couldn't figure out how to start this show. I started it out with a partner. It was the Jim and Peter show. In fact, I listened the other night for the first time in a long time. I went down into the audio podcast because we weren't even doing video the first 8 shows, I believe. And I listened to the How We Met. And it was actually funny. And that was why I was with that guy, because we were kind of funny together. But it just didn't work out. It just didn't work out. And I was driven to be sitting right here. 9 years later. I'll be 9 years in April. So all these years dealing with California, loving California, but actually, again, I was distancing myself from all my music ventures, wasn't doing that anymore. And I was focusing on this show, and I just was hunkered down going for it. And it really ended up to where if it wasn't for that child, there was no need for me to be there, because I still had a house here in the Gulf Coast. So grateful that I kept it, because it became like my cabin to come home to, just to come home. When my parents were still alive, that was a whole different story. Came home for them and all that. But after that, it's been take a breather, enjoy what this area has to offer, which is a lot. We'll get into that. But the basic thing was I needed to see my daughter through. And I still, to this moment, there's conversations I have with her every day. When something comes up, I'm going, God, if I was right there, I could kind of do that for you, I could fix that. But I can't do that now. I got to jump on planes, which I will. But I finally made a decision. After years of contemplation, I'm telling you, going back and forth. My daughter said to me years ago, she just turned 20, which is incredible, hard to believe. But even when she was 18, because I first said, I want to make sure I see her through high school. But I still didn't want to leave. She made it through high school. I was still there. I still don't want to leave. I want to be able to if I get 45 minutes out of her every so many days or once a week, that's 45 minutes I get. Because as you grow older as a parent, your children grow up, you don't know where they're going to be. Look at me. I mean, I took off. I moved 2,000 miles away. And back when I left, there wasn't no FaceTimes and the kind of communication you have now. I tell my daughter all these stories. I was talking to my mother about once every 2 weeks, which now that I think about it, I go, that sucks. I mean, for me, because I'm greedy, I'm talking to my daughter just about every day. Just, how's your day? How was school? I don't care if it's 5 minutes or 25 minutes. But then again, I think about it between my mother and I, and then you think of her generation when you had to get from Europe by boat. That's how my mother came over. I mean, well, she was born in America, but so for my mother, it was kind of the norm that we had such, I remember when long distance was super expensive on the phone, and somebody reminded me of this. Back when we had telephones, wired phones, landlines in the 90s and back, when I first moved, to California, long distance was considered expensive. So my mother'd be like, well, just make a collect call to so-and-so. And so I know you got there, and I'll just say, he's not here. And so your call was kind of free, but you made the communication like, hey, I'm calling you. Everything's okay. A lot of people understand what I'm talking about. Some may not. But anyway, my biggest reason for not leaving California, even though it was killing me financially. I mean, I could have lived on a lesser level, and I did back in the early days, but you get to a certain stage and life was good. Divorce took a lot of it away. I'm not bragging or anything like that, but it got to a certain level where it was pretty damn good. And then I tried to maintain because I needed to be close, and we lived in a really nice area, gated communities and all that kind of crap. And it's expensive. However, did it mean that much to me? No. Yes and no. I mean, everybody wants to have a nice place and things like that, but at the same time, I've kind of come full circle. Maybe it's from age or whatever. The more stuff you own, the more stuff you have to maintain, the more cars you own or motorcycles or whatever, they all need batteries. They all got, and again, if you're at the point in your life financially to where you have an accountant that pays for everything, I guess you can just throw money at everything. I wasn't at that point. A lot of my friends were, but I was not. But I was still in a good position, solid. For a good, again, it was like a roller coaster. Things went up, things stayed for a while, things went down. Divorce just kind of threw me for a whirlwind. I had to rebuild again. And I never got back to where I need to be, getting there. But I finally decided that, like, do I need all this stuff? It's taking up more of my time. It's another thing, managing my time. I don't know how the hell I did it back in the early days when I have 18 projects going on all at once, staying up all night, working on one thing and then going and doing something else in the daytime, 2 different things in the daytime, 3, still having time to go out running around. I don't know. But now I'm having a hard enough time managing this show. You ask a lot of my closer friends, I buckle down. It's like, I'm not out running around. I'd like to be, but this is really important to me. So I made this decision. We're going to finally, because my daughter told me 2 years ago, go Dad, I'll be fine. I know she'll be fine. However, I like just knowing I'm closer. But I finally did it. Made the decision. And man, I don't know about you guys, but moving sucks. Okay, I don't like moving. Some people can handle it. Musical stuff all over the world, getting it where it needs to go, no problem. Household stuff, I have 34 years and I'm a garage guy. I have a lot of stuff. I piddle, a lot of tools, heavy stuff. It sucks. It was a hard time getting it together, getting rid of stuff, letting go of stuff. Because again, when I came to the Gulf Coast, I have stuff here too. It's a culture change, which is no big deal. But I don't mind it because I do love the Gulf Coast. I'm very grateful for everything that this place has to offer. And I said, now with technology and things like that, because lo and behold, I've done this show every year, many times out of the year from the Gulf Coast. You never even knew I wasn't even in California. Technology. I remember I did 6 weeks of summer one year from here in the Gulf Coast. And I'm going, I really don't need to be there. And for business purposes, if I need to be anywhere, New York, Dallas, a lot of stuff going on in Dallas right now, hopefully for me, I just jump on a plane. And if the time comes and I have to live somewhere else, I'll deal with it when the time comes. But I said I'm stripping it all down. I'm walking away from that stuff. Grateful for it. Thankful for it. But there's a lot of great stuff here too. And it's going to be different. It's like, how do I put it? kind of come full circle to where I don't care. Like my house here in the Gulf Coast, older house, needs things. I used to put Band-Aids on stuff, just visiting at the time, making sure just everything's okay. Here, boom, 2 weeks goes by, a month goes by, got to go back to California. But I don't care anymore. I guess that's the thing. I don't care anymore. All that matters is that it's like that everybody's healthy, everybody's happy, life is good. I get to do this show, and believe me, things are, we're working up to a whole different 2026. It just might be the pivotal year that things are going to be changing. I'm crossing my fingers. I work hard at it. Nothing comes easy. But what I did was I finally said, bye-bye, California. Bye-bye, California. And it was such a surreal feeling that, that's it. I'm pulling up anchor. I mean, I've left California a gazillion times, traveling all the time, coming in, coming out. When you're in a different country, you don't know what happens in California or anywhere you're living. You're just so disconnected because you're, a gazillion miles away. But that was it. Now leaving California. Finally did it. Bye-bye. I mean, made that decision. No more $4.50, $5 a gallon. I got a V8. It drinks a lot of gas. There was no reason for gasoline to be so expensive. There's no reason for the property taxes. There's no reason for that. Now they're getting ready to charge a mileage tax. Gavin Newsom, that governor, I don't want to get started in him because I'm going to blow a gasket. But they're slipping in. They just slipped in a bill that they want to charge mileage tax now. That's going to cost your average person that drives an extra $4,000 or $5,000 a year based on your driving. Everybody drives in California. You have to. You have to. They are ruining. Everybody's moved out of California, and now, including me. I finally said enough is enough. I loved being there, but Gavin Newsom has ruined California. And I came back full time where I can now claim, what do you call it? Oh boy, what do you call it? What do you call? Oh my God, having that moment. I'm residing. I gave up everything having to do with my residency in California. That's it, over with. And I come back full time to the free state of Florida, the Sunshine State. Thank you, Governor Ron DeSantis. Homesteading. There it is. I am 100% homesteading in the free state of Florida, the Sunshine State, except for when it rains and pours on and off 3 times during a day during the summer. It's going to be a little bit getting used to, but that's it. This is it right here. Right there. Let's see. It says, bye-bye, California. Well, bye-bye for permanent residency. I can't see living there. And that's right. And yay, Florida. I don't mind. See, the only reason that a lot of my friends can live there is because they just pay their way through it. Dan says, no state tax in Florida. True. That was one of the least of my problems, but yeah, it helps. Every little bit helps. In fact, in Florida, they're considering now, I can't see how it wouldn't go through, but I don't know. They're talking about no property tax if you're a homesteader in Florida. They're going to vote on it this year. If it doesn't go through, there's something really wrong with the system. Because a lot of people are concerned, like, well, how are we going to pay for things if we don't have that money that should be coming in, that's come in all these years? I don't know. DeSantis says there's an abundance in their treasury. They haven't gone through it. That's another thing. California, during COVID, they got given all this money, billions and billions. They don't know where it is, and they're broke now. The state of California is broke. All the majors are moving out, all the major corporations. He has shut down all the fuel refineries in California. The last one to be going offline will be going off in April, and that's it. They're not going to be making gas on the coast of California. So now they're going to have to ship it in via boat. More pollutants. How does that make any sense? It doesn't. But Newsom is he's a snake. He's in with China and all these people that are just stuffing their pockets, and he's going to run for president too. And everybody's like, he has no chance to win. I don't know. Because I see a lot of people that don't know much of anything, and they just judge by his bullshit that he throws out, because every word that comes out of his mouth is a lie. He's such a great liar. And there's people that will believe in him because they're that anything but the orange man. So anyway, I digress. I have shifted gears, and I'm going to be working out of the Gulf Coast. And I'm not here nor there on it. I have no problem being here full time. I got a lot of getting used to. And here's another thing I want to do. For those of you who will be watching this, or who follow, love me or hate me, whatever, sorry. I also, I've been watching y'all's news, y'all. Hey, y'all. I've been watching your news channels. And I got to say, they're pretty friggin' boring. How do you do it? Maybe because you're just used to it? God bless your anchors and all that, but your news people. But they're just reading that teleprompter in today's news. So-and-so is so-and-so, so-and-so. Back to you, Johnny. Like robots. Maybe they've just lost their pizzazz. I don't know, because a few of them I know that have been here since I was a kid. Still seem, I didn't recognize them, but they're still the same people. Unless they share the same names. But the news is boring. So another thing that I decided to focus on, now that I'm going to be down here, because the Gulf Coast is a really big little area. There's lots of things going on. And don't think I don't keep up with everybody here, because through Facebook, again, thank you, Facebook. Amen, Facebook. Everybody told me Facebook and me and the show wasn't going to work. And let me tell you, the momentum that's building on Facebook is just incredible. It's incredible. We get over 500,000 views a month from Facebook. Anywhere, it's almost 750,000. It fluctuates depending on what topics, what interests people, but you can't please everybody. But I follow Facebook. That's what started me on this show, watching who's eating what. Everybody's showing what they're eating, who's going through hard times, who passed away. God knows, man. That's the problem with knowing a lot of people. You see a lot of people who know people who pass away, or the people that pass away, and it sucks. A lot of people, we're all getting up there in age, and not everybody lives to a ripe old age, and some people just downright abuse themselves and check out way too soon. But I'm going to be talking a lot about local things that go on too, because I'm finding out that that's a big deal too. I'll have the phones, I'll have your ear. I think some of the stuff that goes on, there's way better people talking about local stuff on the internet, real people, than on your TV channels. It's programmed bullshit. So I'm going to be talking a lot about that stuff too. What's going on with the beaches, you guys are having issues, or rebuilding Palafox, the downtown, the pros and cons, parking, the charge for parking. They want to build a Hard Rock right here in the middle. How's that going to affect things? Those are big deals. It's going to draw more people, as if we don't get enough now during the summer. I watch y'all's try. I'm here sometimes at the summer, so I experience not being able to get on and off the beach. But I love the Gulf Coast. We're going to talk about that some more. I'm going to get into some of this stuff. I forgot. I just put down some things, and I said, I'm just going for it tonight. I don't have any certain way, shape, or form. I do want to remind everybody real quick, because I've lost my groove I take a little time off, and it feels like forever, but I was chomping at the bit. There's so much, freaking Paul. Are you drinking again? No, I'm not going to be having Southern Fried Sundays. The shows are on Wednesdays. figure out some way for it to rhyme on a Wednesday, and maybe I'll consider it. Then again, because I am down in the South now, but it takes that special kind of guest to get that kind of a show. So you work on it. I want to remind everybody, next week, we're going to start off with this, and then we'll be talking about what I'm going to be doing. But next week is 3 days, February 11th, Wednesday, February 11th, 3 days before Valentine's Day. I'm going to have Heather, the advisor, on the show. She's a card reader. You know, she talks about, love, light, and what's going on. And I'm going to ask her questions. She comes on. She's been on my show several times. I always have her on around Valentine's Day just to lighten things up, because God knows that I, sometimes get into some deep stuff that you're going to either love or hate one way or another. Depends on your emotional feelings. Well, she's going to be on next Wednesday, February 11th. Heather, the advisor, is going to be on this show. We're going to talk about love and life and what the year is going to be looking like. Might even take a call or two, maybe give you a card reading or something like that. Not really sure. Just going to play it by ear, but she is going to be on the show. Going to start that off. It's 3 days before Valentine's Day, and why not? That's what we're going to do. But here's what I want to do right now. Let's see. What we got going on here? I can be cold. Just give me some money. I can be cold. Just give me some. I'll give you some money. YOLO. Stick around. It only gets better from here. What I want to do is real quick. I want to take a quick break so we can hear from my good friends over at Clean Star Products with their money-saving fuel additive DX1 driver, and we're going to talk about that for a minute or two too as well before we get into some of the meat and potatoes about what's going on right now. All right, so don't go away. I'll be right back.
Hello, it's Tyrone Thompson here with Clean Star Products, and we're here with William.
High-end car service.
And we've just serviced his Cadillac Escalade 2024. And we're going to be giving it a go to see what kind of results he'll be getting in his fuel mileage and any performance differences, and be checking with him later.
All right.
Thank you, William, for participating in our environmental program. We're here with High-End Car Services, my friend William, who's been using DX1 for a small time now. What kind of results have you been getting?
Up to 45.1 miles per gallon best results, and the engine has been quieter, and I can definitely feel the power in the engine. I have a diesel.
Thank you so much. We're going to keep going with the program and check in with you later. We appreciate you. The Long Life Engine Program with DX1 Driver is the only safe environmental product for your high mileage engine. DX1 is a non-toxic, clean-burning oil that goes into your fuel and your engine oil, providing lubricity for gasoline and diesel engines. You save on average 10% gasoline and 15% diesel fuel consumption. Call now for a price quote and place your order today. It's the Long Life Engine Program from Clean Star Products and Tyrone Thompson.
That's right, Clean Star Product and their money-saving fuel additive DX1 driver. It's what am I listening to? Well, oh, that one. I'll be damned. All right. Sorry, I was listening to something else. Many things going on at once. DX1 driver, this little bitty bottle. 2 words. It works. Use it myself. Have a high mileage vehicle. I'm telling you, simpling things down. And you want to keep your car running. You want it to run real well, and you want it to get decent gas mileage. And why give all your money away to the fuel stations and gasoline places and repair shops? Just put one of these little bitty bottles into this size bottle right here. Services your average 4-door sedan, Toyota Corolla, something like that. Put it in clean in the oil change. Lasts the whole oil change. That's all you do. So you just put it in, let it stay in there with the oil. Then when you fill up your tank, put one of these little bottles into your fuel, fill up your tank, and just drive. It's that simple. It's that simple. But again. Don't believe me. Why would you want to believe me? What do I know? I'm just a guy doing a talk show. give them a call. You can go to www.cleanstarproducts.com. There's a phone number there, though. You can learn all about them on the website, but here's what you got to do. This is the most important thing. Call that number, 310-200-8931. Talk to them. They'll personally answer your questions. Chances are you may get Ty himself. He's a very passionate guy. He has a product that he believes in because it works. It's that simple. But here's the kicker. You tell them you saw it on the Peter G Show should you decide to order, and they will send you 5 bottles for the price of 4. That's right, folks. Still, 5 bottles for the price of 4, all right? You tell them that you saw it on the show. That's the most important part. Otherwise, you're going to get 4 bottles for the price of 4. Why not have 5 when you instead of 4? Just for saying you saw it on the Peter G Show, all right? I'm telling you, they have a product that works, and they know it, and I know it too. Save money. Don't go to repair shops. Better lubricity. It helps the engine run smoother, quieter, and save gas. Cars are expensive. I'm sick of buying that stuff. Run the wheel off of cars. I don't know. If you got a bunch of money and you can throw money at everything, yeah, sure, no problem. Who cares? But a lot of people are struggling. You just want a car to get you back and forth, get to work. Work's important. Got to pay the bills. There you go. Speaking of which, I want to thank you guys for watching the ads for CleanStar and their DX1 driver, because I had a meeting with Ty not too long ago, a few weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. And he says thank you for watching this show, making that call, and saying you saw it on the Peter G Show when you're ordering. So therefore, I get to live another year or so. Anyway, thank Ty for having such a great product and it working, because it does. It does. That's it. But we had a meeting and said, how's everything? Good. You still like me? He said, yeah. And I said, all right. Got another year? He said, yeah. I said, all right. Carry on. And that's that. Okay. Where are we at? All right. So let's take here's Paul's favorite part. I think it is anyway. If he's still watching, he's married now, so who knows? But before we get into some more of this transitional stage, again, those who see the picture behind me, if you know, you know, and we're going to talk about that some more. But here's to the new year. A lot of new stuff, possibilities going on. I say possibilities because God knows I've had a nickel for every almost, but I still, got to keep going. To everybody's health, I thank each and every one of you, because if it wasn't for you guys, there'd be no reason to do all this. But I thank you, and God bless you all, and cheers. All right. Oh, same old, same old. Smooth. It is. Try not to make a habit of that, but it is deserving at a certain point in the show to get the good reminder of why we're here. Isn't that right, Butthead?
Smooth.
Yeah, that's what I say. Can't say it any better than that. Okay, so we've established that. Let's reiterate. Let me go here first. Smooth. I know. That's all you stay up for, right? Smooth. All right. What's liqueur? What's that? First time ever seeing this. Well, hit the follow button or the subscribe button, and you can see it even more. She says, "What's this all about? What's this all about?" Life of Peter G, the Peter G Show. Every Wednesday, like clockwork, 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. on the East Coast, God willing. Representing from now on from the Gulf Coast. If you just joined in, I packed my bags, loaded up the truck, and I moved to Florida. Duh. Yeah, man. I'll admit, it's going to take some adjusting. But I've always loved the Gulf Coast. I've never said a bad thing about it. I used to have friends when I was growing up, when we were young as musicians. They were going, screw this town, and they were going to Los Angeles. They were going to be rock stars. And not a bunch, but a handful that I remember. And it's like, screw it, this town sucks. And I think that if you go to any town, especially when I was traveling at a younger age, when we were doing regional touring up and down the East Coast and things like that, we'd be playing at these clubs, venues and all these people, wherever they lived, half of them would be saying, yeah, this town sucks, it's boring, there's nothing to do, blah, blah, blah. I think you get that everywhere. I, on the other hand, do like the area. I think there's a lot here to offer if you want to do things, but I mean, the beaches alone speak for themselves. And I do have plenty of friends that know and love this place very much. How can you deny sugar white sand and 80-degree emerald green water half of the year? It's nice. And the scenery is definitely different from California. It's very more jungly here, so to speak. Like, things can overgrow really quick if you let them over here because they get a lot of rain. But life is what you make it. And I decided that I'm going to be, there's no difference. There's really not that big of a deal, me doing where I do the show from. I can do the show from anywhere now with technology. It's kind of cool. But I also decided I want to take on more issues locally. I guess you want to call that, and I always said I'm not a journalist, but in some ways, I guess I am. I'm just not the man on the street guy. Because I take the time to try to find things out to bring information for you guys to consider. What you choose to do with that information, as I always say, is up to you, like it or not. But I guess you can say I guess I'm somewhat of a citizen journalist because I do talk about a lot of issues. I consider myself more of an entertainment talk show host via the Life of Peter G, the Peter G Show. We talk about life, and so that's a pretty broad spectrum. Those of you who know, we cover a lot of ground. But I am going to talk a lot about more local issues because I think it's important for people who don't even live locally to understand how other places operate as well or don't operate as well. I don't think that they'd be, if I do decide to talk about some local issues at certain times on certain shows, that I don't think it will be boring to the people who don't live in the area because there'll be topics that are worthy of talking about. And like I said, I've been watching the news around here and it's like, oh my God, stagnant, boring. And it's pre-programmed stuff. It's just like they write it, you read it, and that's that. I don't have to do that. So far, nobody tells me what I can and cannot do. I mean, even if there comes a time where I'm kind of guided, I'll only be doing things that I choose to do. Otherwise, I won't do them. It's that simple. But I like the fact because, I mean, even the mayor here in this town, I get so many people that just hate him. And some people go, no, he's not a bad guy. He's just a politician. Well, I hate that word politician. That just means like you're a professional liar, in my opinion. Because politicians, that's all they do in Washington. Just professional liars. And it's all okay. They've gotten so used to it. They go, I'm getting ready to blow smoke up your ass. Well, hey, nice to meet you. I'm going to blow smoke up your ass too. And then they just have a good old time bullshitting each other. So I'm going to talk a lot about the area, if need be. And I'll get the calls from the local people if they want to talk about those subjects. You can email me, or I don't get to see a lot of comments, but if there's topics you want to talk about, this is what I do with the show anyway, whether it's alcoholism or, raising children or child abuse or just dating. I'm going to do a lot of that stuff too. It's interesting stuff. It's real life. Current events, which some people get aggravated with me. I'm sorry, whether we love each other or not. If you choose not to love me anymore, that's up to you. I can't cater everything based on what you think. Because no matter what I do for you personally, there's going to be somebody else that isn't going to like what I'm doing. So I just do things. But I'm going to do a lot more local talk. Because that's important to me. I've watched from afar and kept my mouth shut for years because I just said, well, it's not the time or the place. Well, guess what, folks? I am now in the time and in the place. It's the time now, and I'm in the place. How about that? This impacts me as well. It always has, because still, you know, if you have property anywhere, or you live somewhere, it's going to impact where you live. But I've just didn't want to bring it into the picture. I was waiting for the right time. Well, I guess this is going to be the right times. Plus, I think it's going to be interesting stuff too. I'm going to be somewhat of a voice for the Gulf Coast because I think that what I'm seeing, I guess that's just freaking boring. It's just boring. I don't know. I think they're, you know, because they're on a time schedule, like they, you know, reading the teleprompter. It's like they just bam, bam, bam. And then even if you see the news 30 minutes later, an hour later, because sometimes like these news channels, they do the news, then they do the national news, and then the local news comes back on again for another 30 minutes. They're just reading the same exact stuff. I told myself I'm going to try not to swear too much this year too, but we'll see. Somebody just recently said to me, they said, I don't see the need in your swearing. And I said, oh, but I do. I said, sometimes there's people that are very dense in life. And the only way you could really get them to understand the severity of what you're trying to tell them is if you inflect a little bit harder of a language. I don't mean it bad, but sometimes it really gets the point across a lot more. You know what I mean? It's again, forgive me. I said I wasn't going to swear, but I've just got to give this example. Somebody's saying something. It's like, stop saying that. It doesn't register as much. But if they're saying something that's just pure idiocy, and you tell them to shut the fuck up, just shut the fuck up. I think there's a little more, it's a little more like, okay. Now, again, even with that, they still firm believers to spew out ridiculousness, and they're going to. But sometimes it just gets the point across. Let's just put it that way. But I'm going to try to hold back a little bit more. I mean, this last year, the whole theme for Life of Peter G, the Peter G Show, was think before you speak. I think that's my mantra anyway. Think a little bit before you open up your mouth and just throw up all over Facebook. The people are going to say, well, look at you, Peter. You're sitting there talking for an hour and a half. I know. The Peter G Show, the talk show. You know what I'm saying? What else am I going to do here? See what we got here. New commenter. Drop a like for the Peter G Show. Yeah, that'd be nice. I forgot to even tell people to like and follow, but thank you. First time watching? A lot of newbies. Let me tell you, the growth is incredible. There you go. Things are going. And it's just like a snowball. You know, it takes a while, but once you build up that snow, it just starts picking up more snow because there's more area picking up snow. New PFP, new name. Who's new PFP? Sweet Baby Bronson. New PFP. Oh, new profile? No, what's that mean? What's PFP? Sorry, I am the worst with acronyms. Everything's a friggin' acronym. Everything's an acronym. Profile pic. Got it. Sorry. I'm not up with the lingo with you kids. So anyway, my whole thing is like people on, especially the angry people, because the ones especially that hate the orange man. And again, if we're friends, I don't care. You're entitled to do whatever you want. I'm not going to dislike you for it. I don't understand you because you never explained it to me within a logical reason. But doesn't matter. There's so many other things that are important in life. But my whole year of last year is like, before you go spitting things out, running to Facebook to prove your point, which I have a point for that too, think for a minute, maybe just let things breathe a little bit, because the news is changing so rapidly. Let me tell you, this whole month while I've been gone, there's so much stuff. I'm going, oh my God, today this, tomorrow this, bang. It's been like that, you know, it's always like that now. Here today, gone tomorrow. But pertinent stuff. But everybody's dying to get on and going, see, I told you, pedophile. It's like, which is leading me to this. The AI stuff is getting out of control, folks. I'm sure you're aware, but even and I think I have a pretty good eye for it. But it's getting, like, I'm finding especially the posts, the memes, there's names that have badges like verification that I know is bullshit. They're pure crap. Like, anybody can make a meme. I just saw one earlier, and it's Jeffrey Epstein and the Orange Man, and they're going, you know, and it's just, anybody can take a picture and write whatever they want to write on it and put it out there. And these people are salivating to have that, like, acceptance to, like, you know, yeah, that's look, see, putting out pure crap. Not to mention the videos that are coming out now are very, very good. They're getting better and better. You don't know what's real and what's not. You don't. I got this one little video. I have no videos to play tonight or anything. Tonight's just all, you know, we're talking about where we're going this year. I mean, basically still me, but still a lot of change. But here's a quick, can you trust AI? And I say, you guys got to start being a lot less gullible and start getting used to the fact that it's going to get real tricky, and they can get you in a lot of trouble believing things that aren't to be believed. But here you go.
Hey everyone. I just wanted to quickly make this video to prove to you that we can no longer trust anything that we see with our eyes. We can't trust images that we see on social media. We can't trust videos. We can't trust our friends. We can't trust the news. We can't trust anything or anyone. So be careful out there.
And he didn't even replace the voices that are very replaceable to the original voices. But I think it makes a very valid point. He said you can't even trust the news. The news is corrupt, which, again, I think is the hardest thing for people to believe, because they go, why would the news be corrupt? It's supposed to be the news. So a lot of things that are supposed to be, it's like, get over it. That's why the Orange Man is trying to tear all this stuff down, because it's out of control. But they have you focused on other things, and you're going to be hell-bent and screw Peter, and, you know, the hell with that. All I can say is, we'll see. AI I'm looking at, I mean, I spend a lot of my time online looking for things, and it's getting very hard to decipher what's working and what's real and what's not real. And especially for those who are yearning to find things that, you know, relate to their narrative, like Orange Man bad. I mean, everybody's dying to prove that the Orange Man, Trump, I'll call him Orange Man though, because you guys, that's what, you know, you hate him so much. I like him. I'm sorry. I'm willing to give him a shot. And I'm going to tell you why here in a second. You're dying to prove that he had something to do in the Epstein files just because he's mentioned all these times and this and that. And again, we've talked about this a gazillion times. These files have been available for many, many years. They could have been released. They have thrown everything they can at this man. They have changed laws to try to prosecute him, and bent the rules and faked and everything you can imagine, and they still can't take him down. Because he has this one advantage. He doesn't drink. You can say he's arrogant. You can say, he's done this or he's done that. But you can't say how do I want to put this? While all these parties back in the early 90s and things like that, when, all these millionaires and billionaires, they all went to same events. So they all took pictures. I know because when I go out and we're anywhere, we're all taking pictures. Musically, when it was back in the day, had I been at the NAMM show, the National Music Association for Music Merchants, I didn't, I'm here now, so I didn't go. Like everybody and their uncle is there. From the top musicians to everybody's there. We all take pictures. Can we take pictures? So stop with the nonsense. Doesn't mean that I, go out and hang out with the person all the time. But the thing is that while everybody, when they were all these parties, all the years, the Orange Man had one advantage. He never drank or smoked, never did drugs, never did anything. He was always clear-headed. Again, whether you like him or not, tough shit. But the truth is, he didn't make stupid decisions when it came to the Jeffrey Epstein stuff. He was always married, right? Having kids, right there. Sure, there was times he was in between and things like that, but he's a freaking billionaire. He can get anybody he wants that was willing to work for a price. He doesn't have to be there. And he wasn't. And they've proved it because they can't prove that he is. Now, I see all these photos that keep coming up, AI and videos showing him, and there's like little kids around and all that. It's like, people, I know you're salivating to nail him to a wall, but you're wasting your friggin' time. Because if they could have, they would have a long time ago. My point being, I guess I'm back to the AI. I'm just using the Orange Man as an example because I know how many of you who are in total disagreements with me, and that's okay. I don't care if you agree or disagree. The fact, I just want you to be paying attention. They got nothing on him. And it's not because he's the president. It's not because, he's, a billionaire, this and that. If they could have nailed him, they would have, because the deepest underground rats, the deep state, they've done everything, including try to assassinate him. And they failed. So stop it. Stop making yourself crazy, because it's only you're ruining yourself. I see the posts, the rage. See, I get excited when I'm on this show and things like that, but I'm here for a reason. And then it's like, hey, it's a show. Now, I'm not lying. It's another thing. There's so much hypocritical video footage from Chuck Schumer's, your Democratic people, all that. The problem is that they say one thing now, but if you go back a few years ago, it's on video. They say the exact opposite. That we're like, everything we're trying to do now, because the Orange Man is trying to do it, it's bad. And it's right in front of your face, but you don't want to know. You don't want to know. And add on top of that, all the cutting up, the media, the news agencies are in cahoots with the deep state and all that. They're bought and paid for. Trump's trying to straighten all that out too. We're going to have to tear all this stuff down. It's just the way it is. To start getting some, I don't mind if it was real and it was true, I'd be right there with you. But if I'm wrong, you need to sit down and explain it to me. But nobody ever does, because I'm seeing through all the crap. Once you see through the crap, you know what to look for. And again, I'm not saying the guy's perfect. He has advisors. And the first time around, he had bad people trying to tell him things to do. And you got to trust certain people, because you can't know and do everything. Although he does a lot more. He doesn't sleep. But I'm talking about the AI stuff. I'm back to that, just using the Orange Man as an example, because he's the most predominant, he's everywhere, because he's doing everything. And you got people that are against what he's doing because he's ruining their corruption, their game. Ruining it for them, because they've been taking our money for years. That's why this country was getting ready to, God forbid, we were getting ready to go down in flames. We stand a chance now. But you won't care because you don't believe it. And that's okay. Because nothing you or I say is going to change a whole lot. What happened to you people with you stand with Ukraine? I don't hear shit about that anymore. You know, the war is still going on. He can't get them to compromise. Although, again, he's outsmarting them again. He just did a deal with India. See, India was buying all of Russia's oil. India was buying a ton of oil from Russia. And the Orange Man just struck a deal to make them stop buying that oil, which was again, Russia selling the oil to India made Russia money so they can finance their war. So Trump can't get them to stop fighting, so he's going to break them financially to where you can't afford to fight. Let's come to a reasonable settlement. So he's struck a deal with India to make them stop through tariffs. He says, I'll drop the tariffs down to a reasonable amount because India needs us. So he figured it out through business. He says, you stop buying oil from Russia, you start buying the oil from us, and we'll drop those tariffs, because I think they're way over 50% or something like that. He's dropping them down to like 18 or 15%, something in that realm. So what's this going to do? Number one, we're going to be selling oil to India. Number two, oil is not going to be sold from Russia to India, which therefore Russia's not going to make the money they need, which in turn is going to start strapping their budget for the money they can spend on war by a lot. I forget now. This just popped into my head. And again, I didn't have it written down. I didn't expect to be talking about this, but it's all about trust in what he's doing. But all you guys see, some of you, not all, is what a horrible human being he is and person he is, because the media is has put you together for years. And I'm just saying, okay, we'll see. We'll see. But the AI stuff, this is another thing. Why I'm going to be a voice, because I know I'm real. At least I think I am. Max Headroom. So I'm going to be. I don't want to be. I'm already been. I'm going to take it to a local level, and I'm going to talk about local events too. But at least love it or hate it, like what I got to say, don't like what I got to say. You can voice your opinion, and I'm going to be talking about local things as well as life situation things. I think that's important. I just feel like this, again, I've watched the local area news in the Gulf Coast, Pensacola, Fort Walton, Destin, the Panhandle, and it's boring as hell. It's boring as hell. So I want to start incorporating some of that into it. So I guess you can call me citizen journalist. I don't know. I don't mind it. I can talk about anything, limited more on sports. I don't follow sports. But anything you want to bring up to me that you feel is important, all I'm saying is, let me know. That's what we're going to be doing this year. I think it's important. For God's sakes, I'm doing a show underneath the bridge. It's a nice bridge. If you know, you know. Location, location, location. I'm going to be somewhat of a voice for the Gulf Coast as well, because I see a lot of things, pros and cons. Maybe I'll bring some of these people that are the on-the-street people. I've also found those people on Facebook, too, that are pretty good. And they talk in more detail. Like, I always felt like I'm the middleman. I just find the information. I bring the information. And I just have the opportunity to transfer information because I have a show. I'm not an expert in a lot of things, but I'll bring the experts on. Getting better at a lot of things. I'm talking about more things that I never thought I'd be talking about. Some of the stuff I've had. You learn a lot. You do learn a lot. But again, this is where I come in. I'm somewhat relatable. I think I break it down into some pretty simple English. I think I do. Also, parenting. I'm going to try to talk more about that too. Because you know how important that is to me? Parenting. Because I feel that the biggest problem we're having lately is the generation that has grown up with little to no parenting. Little to no parenting. And now we have a generation of just radical dumbasses. And you can gauge, you can see, they spell it out for you just on appearance alone. Now, I don't always judge that way, but it's a pretty good gauge to start with. And you know it. There's a lot of lost youth and young adults that are just loudmouths and know nothing about what they're talking about and jumping on the bandwagon and just making everything worse, and very susceptible to wanting to belong to something. So they jump. What happened to Free Palestine? All these people. It's like every week something new. The Free Palestine people jump, because they're paid protesters, but they jump from one thing. It's like, okay, new signs for the month. And I'm not wrong. I am farthest from it. The proof has been I've spent many hours showing you videos of people who bust all these people who go to every protest all over the country, and they're organizers and they have perfectly made signs. Nothing's organic. I don't mind an organic protest. Go for it. But these aren't organic. They're doing this to keep everybody divided. That's where I have a problem. And it's working. People are getting killed over it. And that's what they want, because it just stirs the pot more. Idiots should have stayed home. So I'll be talking more about parenting. I think that's really important. I'm not going to claim I'm some great parent or anything like that, but I cared enough to try to be. God knows we all make mistakes. I don't even know if you get better at it or not. Everything's a constant evolution. But if you love your children and you want them to grow up to be decent human beings, you got to be a decent parent. You got to lead an example. This what do they call it? Soft parenting? Not soft parenting. Gentle parenting or something like that. I got to tell you, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. I'm not saying you got to beat the shit out of your kids when they do wrong, although that does work. It does work. I mean, there's a certain, you got to find that in between, because God knows I got my ass beat. Even getting up and going to school, my mother would be yelling, "Peter, get up. Got to go to school. Peter, get up. Peter, get up." All of a sudden, I'd hear my father's voice. And you got up. You got up. You got up real quick, because there was a huge change in tone. And Peter, get up. Peter, get up. And all of a sudden, my father's voice was like on 12. If he was home, still didn't go to work, whatever time it was. And I got to tell you, it does make a difference. But first, you got to start with being there. Your presence is definitely needed to raise a child. I think a child needs both a father and a mother. Now, there are families that don't have a choice. Okay? I get that. Exceptions to every rule. Some people, father passed away, mother passed away. I mean, just tragic events. Okay? I get it. I don't like it. It sucks. A lot of children, I know, lots of people. If I have friends, lots of people. My own mother, her father died when she was 11 years old. He died of cancer because in World War I, which my grandfather served in, my mother's father, who I'm named after, the Germans sprayed mustard gas. Mustard gas? He was there. He served in the American Army. And he died at 42 years old from cancer. So there's lots of people. I mean, including, my family. I mean, that you don't have, and I know the longing. My daughter has a best friend. Her father passed away when she was 15. Now she's 20, 21, something like that. I can see the loss in her eyes when I see her, just wishing her father was there. I don't blame her, or mother, or whatever, any child. It's like, come on. So if you are around, you are present, or you're a piece of crap, and we'll talk about you too. But I'm going to talk a lot more about parenting and, what it takes and child abuse. And I got guests. I'm hopefully going to be coming down the line that we're going to be getting guests and talking about that. Dating, relationships, all that stuff. I'm going to be talking about that stuff because I think it's important. I think it's really important. Before I start getting to where I don't want to, I was going to open the phones and see if you had any opinions about anything, if you had anything you want to say. But if you're in the comments or anything like that, because you're listening, and you want to give me a call about anything, otherwise I'm not going to. I didn't realize I was going to. Again, I should know better. I have plenty to talk about. But I will. I could open up the phones if there's something you want to say. Just say, hey, yeah, sure, and then I'll give you the number. You can call in. But this is where we're at, and this is where we're going. So I'm going to be talking about that. Also, I mean, I have a lot to be. I don't think about these things, but I'm in what's called the 400 Club. I'm in the 400 Club. Got over 400 shows on demand that you can watch. So go watch them. That says a lot. A lot of shows. Now, it's been an evolution. It's been a journey. I mean, some, they started out like some are 20 minutes, some went to 50 minutes and things like that. But in all reality, because I just had a talk with somebody, they go, that says a lot. You're in the 400 Club, as they call it. Woo! I'm just doing what I do. And in those 400 plus shows, there's all kinds of topics. A lot of them current events, some disasters, like technical disasters, only a handful of those. But live, because we are live. We are live. Nonetheless, I'm in the 400 Club. Going to be working my way this year into the 500 Club. So that has something to be desired. I mean, said for or whatever. So while I'm here, I guess my point being is let's make the best of it. Let's, you got something you want me to talk about? Let me know. Just write me. info@petergshow.com. Info. It's my email. info@petergshow.com. Do I even have that? Oh no, I used to. It's been a while. It's been a while. No, I do not. Well, look, believe me, you go to the profiles in these on these pages, and I'm pretty sure it tells you, how to contact me. Now, again, folks, I don't get to see all the comments, too many. I don't look at them because it's just overwhelming, unfortunately. But your comments are so welcomed to be there for other people to understand. A lot of people talk amongst themselves, which is really good. But that's where we're at. So the change, I am truly grateful. I still got a lot of getting used to things to do. It's been quite a change, and we're definitely downsizing, like space-wise, a little bit harder. But again, as things grow, that can change as well. I'm banking on it. So I hope that we're going to have a whole lot to talk about in the future. If you want to talk about certain things, let me know. I hope that this year, when I start opening up the phone lines, that you're going to utilize the opportunity and make the phone calls and talk to me like we used to in the past. I think maybe if I start again with some of this local stuff, maybe some of the local people will take more initiative and call in and talk about stuff. I hope. Because it's different when you're generalizing. Although I don't see much of a difference. When I'm talking about current events, that affects the whole United States. And you'd think that people, but my crowd has gotten so shy, my favorite lurkers. But again, we're going to do whatever we do. We're going to do it just from a different area now. I'm embracing this whole thing. I just got to get used to it. That's all. It's going to take some time. And then I want to start utilizing the area for fun and games, as well as business, and just melt back in. I mean, always when I'm here, I'm always doing stuff, but now it's just a different feel right now, because I've been drowning in stuff to do to get this together. I know it seems like, what's so hard about that? Oh, God, if you only knew. Anyway, all right. Look, I'm going to, did I say everything I need to get going? I think we covered enough ground today. I think the biggest deal was I wanted y'all to know, that as grateful as I was for I've lived in California longer than any place else in my entire life, including Pensacola, where I did a lot of growing up, and Connecticut. Lived in Connecticut from being born in New Haven, Connecticut to 15. Then we moved to Pensacola, and that's when I really started cutting my teeth musically. Started really deciding, hey, I want to play drums, and I'm going to play drums. And I did play drums and tore up and closed down every club and bar in this city, town, beach. Toured regionally and said, it's time to go. I want to do bigger things, attempt to do bigger things. And we did. So we went to California. Ended up 34 long years there. Majority were good. It did have its moments, though. But now it's time to bring it all back home to the Gulf Coast. And I will continue from this point on, as far as I know for now, doing Life with Peter G, the Peter G Show, from under a bridge. If you know, you know. And that's it. So I hope you have my blessing, or have your blessing. And I look forward to seeing a lot of people. Well, I see a lot of people anyway, but even more now. And getting your thoughts on your local events and current events, and of the local things. I'm picking up the lingo. What do you mean? It's the same old me, just doing a little old show here from under a bridge now. Times are hard. Picking up the lingo. Well, I mean, I think I've always had that lingo, but I've been very fortunate that from being all over the place, that you don't pick up just too much of one thing. I think. We'll see. Anyway, you came in late. Well, better late than never, Stephen. That's it. Doing the show from now on from the Gulf Coast. How's that? I think there's going to be lots of fun and lots of new things that are going to be developing, but sky's the limit. Just need you guys to keep liking, sharing, following, subscribing. Let's keep the momentum, people. That's going to be the key, because the bigger things get, the more I have to my advantage to bring better things to the show. I do a lot rubbing two nickels together. I do. You'd be surprised. I mean, again, not many people can say they do a show from under a bridge, but I'm proud of it. It's a nice area. All right. I love you guys. I do. Don't forget, y'all. Look, I can say that. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. Look, I'm willing to bet that I've said it before and it just blew right by you because we weren't talking about the South. I can bring that in and bring it out. Now, I've emphasized on it a little more tonight out of, jokingly. But I mean, even my daughter has, when she comes down here, she picks up the sling. I mean, she sounds like she has some roots from here. I've had some of the greatest women take her under her wing and spend the time every time she's here. And they are definitely Southern women, And we go home, I go, you're slanging, right? She goes, I know. It's okay. Nothing wrong with it. Plenty of people that live all different places in the world that talk a little bit differently, but they're all good people. And there's bad people as well that talk differently too. So you pick and choose. I choose the good people. Like you. Like, share, follow. Please subscribe. Subscribe on YouTube. YouTube is killing me. All right. They still follow on the Facebook page. Hit the follow button. I need this. I do. Because I got the bean counters on my ass. Give you an example. It's over 75,000 followers on the official Peter G Show page on Facebook. 75,000. Now, that sounds like a good number, but the problem is, on Facebook, we have between 500,000 and 700,000 viewers monthly. See, so that's a big difference. So if I had the number of 500,000, let's say 300,000 followers, that just, I don't know. It's a mental thing for these people to say, all right, we're going to take this boy's going places. And I'm going places, all right. What's Dan got to say here? I'm glad you made the move out of California back to where you cut your teeth. Well, you know what? I mean, you're right, Dan. You're right. And so am I. And thank you. But here's the thing. You know the joke, it's like you could take the boy out of the country, but not the country out of the boy. Now, I was never a country boy or this and that because, again, I have a lot of East Coast roots too. But I'm grateful for having those roots and being able to put them together. You know what I mean? It's what shapes you up and makes you who you are. So I've been fortunate. Plus, touring, traveling is an education within itself. You pick up a whole different type of education that school could never teach you. And I'm very proud of that. I love my East Coast places and my East Coast friends. I mean, and things. I mean, I got certain things out of that place, but I'm very grateful for my Gulf Coast right now. I am. I mean, for the years I had here, I've never, ever doubted that. Even when I'm in California doing things, it was the Gulf Coast, growing up that I managed out of there. Now, again, I'm taking some things out of California. I've got experience. I've grown as a man there. But it's all of the above. But living here, I got to tell you, the quality of life, I undoubtedly is better. Depends how you make it. But again, I had a great quality of life over there too. It just cost me everything. I don't have Luke money. I say that lovingly, but it's the truth. It's like, you could just, Dan, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm grateful for this place. So let's have some fun. This year is going to be great. I want to hear your comments. You can leave them on the show. You can there'll always be short clips and things like that. And let's have a great time. Same me, different location, but I'm always growing as well. Always learning, always growing, always listening to you guys, good or bad, doesn't matter. So long as you're watching and paying attention, whether you agree with me or you don't agree with me, I'm still listening because you're listening, watching. So very cool. I'm very proud of, everything you guys, and very grateful for all you guys put into it. All right. All right. Don't forget, next week, where we at? February 11th, next week, 3 days before Valentine's Day. Heather, the advisor, is going to be on the show. She's going to be on, and she's going to do some of her card readings. I'm going to definitely ask her about what's going on in the world, love, life. Might take a call or two. Let's see, and let her give you some advice on your life, where you're going. God knows some of you need it, direction. But she's going to be on the show right here, Heather, the advisor, with some Valentine's fun, just to lighten it up, and let's see how we're doing directionally in life. I think everybody needs a little bit of direction. It's good for you. So join me next week, all right? Right here on Life of Peter G, The Peter G Show, every Wednesday, like clockwork, 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, and 9 p.m. on the East Coast, right here. That's us. So, again, thank you, and please share. I'm telling you, share, follow, subscribe. Need that. And wish me luck. This is even though this is pretty much the same thing that I'm doing, there is a bit of a difference and a different approach. And I'm taking some chances on a few things, and let's see how it all pans out. But I do know one thing: you get nowhere from just sitting on the couch. If I didn't get off, my ass and keep pushing, we would all not be here today. And I'm very grateful. So that's basically it. All right, that's all she wrote. My name is Peter G. I love you guys. I truly do. Thanks for watching tonight. And let me know what you think about the change. All right. Hang in there. We'll see you next week. I love you and peace out.
Peter G Show.